Ladies and gentlemen, President William Samoei Arap Ruto today sent a very strong message to Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga. For those who follow the politics of this country, last week but one, Raila Odinga made two things very clear. That his focus is going to be on reforming IEBC and reforming the judiciary, especially the Supreme Court of Kenya. And he indicated that he was only waiting for the full verdict of the Supreme Court, which they released earlier today. And today, Raila Odinga's allies, led by TJ Kajwang and Aladwa, led other members of parliament, Otsosi, Amos Mwango, the Stare member of parliament, Peter Orero, the Kibra member of parliament, Mark Mwenje, the Embakasi West member of parliament, to IEBC officers. They wanted to meet Wafula Chebukati over the interdiction of Ruth Kulundu. That meeting was thwarted. William Ruto used the opportunity to send what I consider a coded message to Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. So in this video, I want us to look at the coded message which Ruto was sending to Raila Odinga by tear-gassing the ODM members, the Azimio members of parliament. Before we do that, in case you're watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Please, for this particular video, give it thumbs up. Now, the Azimio members of parliament today kept their words and headed straight to Wafula Chebukati's office. They wanted an audience with Wafula Chebukati and Marjan Hussein Marjan, who is the CEO of IEBC, over the interdiction of Ruth Kulundu. Ruth Kulundu is the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of IEBC. She committed what IEBC chairperson and the CEO feels were offense. She organized a meeting for the 4 commissioners. That's the Cherera group. And she also organized for lawyers to represent IEBC during the presidential petition. And since William Ruto won the presidency, and since the court also ruled in favor of IEBC, the group, the Cherera group, has been under a lot of pressure from Kenya Kwanza and also from Wafula Chebukati and the group. So their target has been Ruth Kulundu. Ruth Kulundu is being accused of gross misconduct, insubordination, and participating in illegal activity. Of course, she was siding with Azimio. So today, the Azimio team wanted to pile pressure on Wafula Chebukati so as to protect this particular lady. Because, you know, Wafula Chebukati and Marjan Hussein Marjan cannot do anything to the 4 commissioners. Remember, even Raila Odinga wanted Wafula Chebukati, the Gulie and the rest to vacate office. They could not. They did not, because the law protects them. So this is what happened when the Azimio team landed there.
Ya mambo.
Jose.
Habari gani? Habari gani? Why? Why? Who is in charge? Hatari security
Samuel Kamai.
the person who is in charge.
Go off, eh?
So if you ask me, that was a message, a strong message from William Ruto to this group. And I want you to listen to some of the speeches by these MPs before we look into the coded message which William Ruto actually succeeded in sending to Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga.
We are seeing that a number of staff, and not just Ruth Kulundu, are being intimidated by Chebukati and Marijan, being assumed to have supported Azimio. And it's not just Kulundu. We know, like in the Department of Boundaries, we have information that the head of that department, Madam Caroline Manyange, has also been relegated and her duties are now being performed by her juniors.
We demand as follows. Number one, that IEBC immediately reinstates Ruth Kulundu to her rightful position of Deputy CEO within the next 24 hours. Failure to which we shall take stern action against Wafula Chebukati and the CEO Majan Hussein Majan. Number two, that IEBC calls to order Majan Hussein and demonstrate to Kenyans that he shall live by the values and principles of public service. Failure to which we shall demand that he relinquishes his position prior to the commencement of the boundaries review exercise or conducting the pending by-elections.
Now, let us now get to the main issue. What message was William Ruto sending to Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga? Number one, the Deputy President is telling the two gentlemen that he's going to be ruthless with them. Ruthless in the form that it's hardly 1 month since William Ruto took over office, but tear gas is already in the air. Because in an ordinary circumstance, the members of parliament who went there were less than 6, or they were around that number. In an ordinary circumstance, what the police ought to have done was to organize for the 4 members of parliament, or even 5, to get in. I think it used to happen before. I remember even in the last election, when we went to the Supreme Court, I think there was some petitioning we were making. The police condoned the area, but the leaders were allowed in and they submitted their petition. So what in an ideal situation ought to have happened was that these guys ought to have allowed the members of parliament into the building, because anniversary towers where IBC is a constitutional body, they ought to have allowed these guys. But the police are saying no, which means they were acting on an order. That order must have come from none other than William Samoei Arap Ruto. And that order is clearly a strong message to Raila and to Uhuru that the president, William Ruto, is actually going to be ruthless in dealing with them. So that's the first message. The second message which William Ruto is also sending through that move, in my view, is that he's telling the two gentlemen that I am determined to protect the heroes, that is Wafula, Chebukati, and the group. Because remember, Cherera and the group almost disrupted the party for William Ruto. And William Ruto has always consisted that the hero of the 2022 election is none other than Wafula Chebukati. And that Wafula Chebukati is the person who is being accused by Azimio for bungling the elections. So which means Ruto is telling Uhuru and is telling Raila that I'm going to go to any length to protect Wafula Chebukati, to protect Boyamulu, to protect Gulie, and to protect Hussein Marjan Hussein. Hussein Marjan Hussein is actually, in my view, the crook of IEBC. And sometimes I become very bitter with Raila Odinga. How could he agree to go into an election presided over by Hussein Marjan Hussein and Wafula Chebukati and even Gulie? Those three gentlemen are the biggest cartel in IEBC. But Ruto is telling them, I'm going to protect those people. The third message which is also coming out is that Raila and Uhuru are being told that the alleged deep state or the system which they were using before has now shifted their loyalty, and that their loyalty is now to a new team. Assuming we were still under the handshake and these members of parliament were allied to Raila Odinga, do you think they would have been tear-gassed? No, they would not have been tear-gassed. So basically, Ruto is telling Raila and Uhuru that things have changed. I'm now in charge. And lastly, Ruto is also responding to Raila Odinga, who is pushing for electoral reforms. That no electoral reforms is going to happen anytime soon in this country. And if it has to happen, then it will happen not peacefully, but it will be a fight. I don't know what to think. That's my take. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day. Bye-bye.